Hello chess enthusiasts, my name is Miha and welcome to my chessrealm YouTube channel. So, FIDE World Chess Championship between Dean Liren and Nepomniachtchi, better known as Nepo, is underway. Let's see what happened in the second game. Liren Dean had white pieces and he started with d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to f3, and d5. So what do we have? Some sort of Indian defense similar to Queen's Gambit declined. And now Ding surprises Nepo with h3. Very uncommon move, totally out of the main lines. And here Nepo was thinking about his next move for some time. D captures on c4 was played, eventually e3 trying to grab the pawn back. c5 striking the center. Bishop recaptures pawn on c4. a6 protecting b5 square. And now white castles king side. Black continues with the development, knight to c6, knight to c3, and now b5 attacking the bishop. Bishop goes to d3, bishop to b7, developing bishop to the long diagonal. Now this formation of pawns is prone to an attack, and this is what happened. a4 attacking pawn on b5. Black pushes pawn to b4, attacking the knight. Knight goes to e4. And now knight to a5. Double attack on knight on e4. Also black threatens with c4 with a lot of pressure on the queen side. You might think that pawn on c5 is for free, but if knight captures on c5, then bishop recaptures the pawn. Recaptures. But after knight d7, white cannot properly defend the c-pawn. Queen c2 doesn't work. After rook c8, pawn on c5 is going to be captured sooner or later. So in the game, white captures knight on f6. Black has two ways of recapturing and goes for the sharper variation. G-pawn captures on f6, creating an open g file, putting a lot of pressure on the white king. Well, black didn't castle yet, so this is a very double-edged position. e4 was played, opening diagonal for his dark square bishop. Well, maybe white should consider capturing pawn on c5 first, because black follows his original plan. c4 was played, attacking bishop on d3. Bishop goes to c2. Now queen to c7, preparing to castle queen side, also supporting his queen side pawns and preventing this unpleasant bishop to f4. White continues with bishop to d2, now rook to g8, pretty much expected. Black puts a lot of pressure here on the g file. Maybe queen to e1, attacking pawn on b4 would be a totally solid option. White, however, plays rook to c1, x-raying black queen. Bishop to d3 comes to your mind. Black, of course, wouldn't be able to capture. Black, however, doesn't care and castles king side. Still in this position, queen to e1 would be totally playable option. In the game, white plays bishop to d3. Black cannot capture naturally. King goes to b8. Was played, so black removes the king out of the rook's radar. While white cannot capture a pawn with bishop to c4, knight captures, and after b3, black continues with knight b2 attacking queen, and black is still a piece for a pawn up. Well, even after rook c7, knight d1, rook captures on b7, king b7, rook b1, white only has a pawn for an exchange, which is not a knife in this position. So in the game, white plays rook to e1. And now f5 was played, a very strong move. White cannot capture because after that, rook captures pawn on d4 with a winning position. Rook is untouchable because after a knight captures on d4, we have mate in 4. Rook to g2. If king h1, then queen mates on h2. If king to f1, then rook captures on f2. King has no other option but to capture then queen to h2. If king f1, then queen to g2 mate. If king to e3, then bishop to h6 checkmate. So in the game, bishop to c2 was played. Knight goes to c6, putting additional pressure on pawn on d4. Well, maybe here was the time for white to play king to f1, removing king out of the g file. Even if black would capture on d4, knight captures, rook recaptures, and then bishop to d5. Well, here black would have to find the correct continuation. Bishop to d6. Black would still be better, but white would have, let's say, some chances of counterplay. In the game, bishop to g5 was played, attacking the rook and protecting pawn on d4. Well, white also threatens with bishop to f6, cementing his bishop on this strong square. Well, black is better, but the advantage could easily vanish, and here Nepo strikes with a spectacular exchange sack at the correct moment. Rook captures bishop on g5. Knight, of course, recaptures. Knight captures pawn on d4, threatening with discover attack on the queen at the correct moment. Well, black cannot immediately jump with knight on f3 or e2 because those two squares are protected. Nevertheless, white plays queen to h5, trying to capture pawn on f7. Black cannot allow that, so f6 was played, attacking the knight. Well, knight doesn't have a lot of good squares, but maybe white could try with knight f7, after rook to d7. Knight is double attack and is kind of trapped, but white could still give it away by playing e captures on f5, rook grabs the knight, and f pawn captures on e6. Rook is under attack. After, let's say, rook to g7, bishop to e4 blocking the long diagonal. White has a rook and a pawn for two pieces. Of course, black is better, but white would probably have some counterplay. In the game, knight goes back to f3, and now black captures bishop on c2. Rook recaptures. Bishop captures pawn on e4, attacking the rook. Now here white should still keep the rook on the c file, keeping some tension here on the queen side. Rook to d2 was played instead, offering the trade of rooks. Black doesn't go for it. Bishop to d6 was played instead, preventing the trade of rooks. Now rook on d2 is protected only by the knight, and if the knight does not defend the rook, then bishop to h2 discover check is possible. So white plays king to h1, avoiding this unpleasant tactic. Now c3, trying to create a passed pawn. There isn't much white can do. B captures on c3, b pawn recaptures. White cannot stop c pawn. After rook to a2, then c2, queen to h6, preventing promotion, but bishop to f4 would probably be played, and black is winning. In the game, rook goes to d4 was played, now c2, queen to h6, preventing promotion. Well, now black cannot play bishop to f4 because rook captures on d8 with check, and then white grabs the bishop. So in the game, d5 was played, attacking the rook. Rook cannot go anywhere, and after rook to d2, then c1 square is no longer protected, and c pawn promotes. And realizing that there's no point in playing on in this position, Liren resigned the game. So I hope you like this game. I hope you have learned something from it. If you have any questions, my email is below in the description. Of course, I invite you to visit my Instagram page. That's it for now, and see you soon.